Assalamu alaikum level matric students, this is your teacher Fayaz Ahmed, and today inshallah we will complete the chapter number 12, which is waves and sound. So we will discuss the topics of the characteristics of sound. There are many characteristics and attributes of sound, like the loudness of sound, the pitch of sound, the echo, and the quality, which is also known as timbre. So we will discuss these characteristics first. Secondly, we will also discuss the reflection of sound, that what is the reflection of sound, and lastly we will discuss the interference of sound. In the interference of sound, we will discuss the interference and the you can say the resonance of sound, and we will discuss the beats, and finally we will conclude this topic with the understanding of ultrasonic. So let's start. So the first characteristic of sound is known as the loudness. Now what is the loudness? Loudness is basically the intensity of sound or the amount of sound, that how much sound is being heard or how much sound is there or how much sound is incoming. So the amount of sound or the quantity of the sound or in the intensity of the sound is known as the loudness. Now the unit of the loudness or the intensity of sound is basically the zone or bell, or one smaller unit that is commonly used is the decibel. So these are the units of for the checking of the loudness, whether the loudness is slow or large. So we calculate, and the unit of the loudness is zone, bell, or decibel. Now there are some factors on which the loudness depends. Now there are basically the two factors. The first factor is basically the area of the vibrating surface. For example, if I struck any small spoon, so the sound that will come from the small spoon will be less as compared to the sound having the big area or big surface. For example, if I'm just striking the cap of a big utensil, or if I'm just striking a big utensil, so the sound that will originate from that will be of the greater intensity. So sound basically depends upon the area of the vibrating surface. Secondly, sound also depends upon the direction of the wind and sound. For example, if someone is speaking in that direction or in specific direction, and the wind is also blowing in that direction, so the speed and the amount of sound that will be observed, a person who is standing against it will be greater. But in the case the direction of sound is in that direction and wind is blowing in opposite direction, so the person standing against to the source of sound or the listener would hear the less loudness of the sound. So it is essential that the direction of sound and the direction of wind should be in the same direction for hearing the loud noise. Now the second characteristic of sound is basically the pitch. Pitch is basically the distinguishing feature between a shrill sound and a flat sound. So if there is a strong sound and if there is a very weak or less strong sound, so the difference of the two sounds can be identified on the basis of the pitch of the sound. So the pitch of the sound basically depends upon the frequency of the sound. Now if the frequency of the sound is greater, the pitch of the sound will also be greater, and the sound will appear to us as a shrill sound. But if the frequency of the sound is less, the pitch of the sound will also be less, and the sound will be heard to us like a flat sound. So the pitch is directly proportional to the frequency of the sound. If frequency is less, pitch will also be less. If frequency is greater, then pitch will also be greater. The experiment of determining the pitch can easily be conducted. For suppose that, as shown in the figure over here, there is one disc and there is one rope and one axle which is connected with this disc. When this axle is rotated, this disc will also rotate. Initially we rotate this disc at low speed. At low speed, the air which is coming into this direction, less number of holes will experience the air. So the frequency of the sound will be less and the sound will be quite flatter. So if we increase the amount of this axle, the speed of this axle, so this disc will also be rotating at the higher speed. At the higher speed, the number of holes which experience the air will be greater, and as the number of holes which are just experiencing this air, it becomes more, the frequency of the sound increase and sound become more shrill, and that's why you can say that the pitch of sound is now increased. So by using this experiment, we can easily understand that what is pitch and what is the effect of the pitch. Now the third characteristic of the sound is known as echo. Echo is defined as the returning of the sound after hitting a smooth surface. So basically, whenever a sound is going and it strikes with a particular flat and smooth surface, then it will come back. Now this going forward and coming back of the sound is known as the echo. So we have considered one example. Consider these two mountains and a person who is standing inside the valley. Now if this person will speak, the sound waves will propagate in the forward direction. But as there is a mountain in front of it, so the sound wave will come back. When the sound waves will come back like this, so this produces the thing that is known as echo. So normally you have observed that if a particular room is empty and the flat walls are there, so the echo is produced inside the empty room. Similarly, in the large halls and wherever there is a smooth horizontal surface, the echo is very much greater. Now echo depends upon the nature of the surface. If the nature of the surface is quite rough, for example, if it is like cloth or irregular surface, so the sound will cancel each other and it will be absorbed inside that, you can say inside that particular surface. For the echo, the surface should be flat, hard and smooth, so that whenever the sound is initiated, so it will come back after the reflection. So reflection or returning of the sound wave completely is known as echo. So the fourth and last characteristic of sound is basically the quality, which is also known as timbre. So consider the two sounds, even the two sounds having the same loudness and the pitch. For suppose that the two sounds are same in terms of their loudness and the two sounds are same in terms of their frequency or pitch. Now there is still one distinguishing feature to observe the difference between the two sounds, and this distinguishing feature between the two sounds of same pitch and loudness is called the quality or timbre of the sound. So there's one example that consider the two similar sounds that are played from the piano and guitar having the same loudness and pitch. So still the difference of the two sounds can be observed, that whether this particular sound is coming from piano or guitar, so that distinguishing feature is known as the quality or timbre of the sound. Now the second topic is basically the reflection of sound. So what is the reflection of sound? It is basically the bending of the sound wave from a surface. So whenever sound is incident on a particular plane or a particular obstacle, whenever the sound is incident on it, it just reflects in the other direction. And even if there is obstacle in between the listener and the source of the sound can be heard across the obstacle due to the reflection of sound if there is one small opening. So in order to understand the reflection of sound, we have considered here two examples. Now let's discuss the first example. Let's say that there are two pipes which are separated from an obstacle that is made up of a cardboard, and let's say there is one watch which can produce the sound of the alarm clock. So whenever this produces the sound will travel in this direction. Since there is one wooden board in the direction of the sound, so sound will get reflected into the other direction, and on the other direction as the human ear can easily hear the sound. So basically this going and then bending of the sound is known as the reflection of the sound. and there was one obstacle, but there was also one opening. So the sound which was coming in this direction, it get reflected on the other side. In this way we can easily hear the sound on the other side of the obstacle, because there was one small opening, and that opening allowed the reflection of the sound. So the other example for the understanding of the reflection of the sound is basically this curved pipe. Let's say there is one source of sound which is present on the left hand side of this curved pipe, and let's say the sound is propagating in the forward direction. Since the pipe is curved, so basically this sound will propagate in crisscross direction. So like this direction, the sound will propagate in the forward direction, and eventually it can be heard on the other side. So the sound can easily be reflected from the surface. Here the sound was reflected from this wooden board, and in this example sound was reflected from inside the walls of this curved pipe. So this is all about the reflection of sound. So the next topic is basically the interference of sound. Now what is the interference of sound? The mixing of the sound waves is known as basically the interference of sound. When the two sound waves combine together, so the interference of sound take place. Now as you know that we have already discussed the interference in detail, that whenever the interference takes place, there are basically two types of interference. Number one is the constructive interference, where the result is maximum, and number second was the destructive interference, where the result was minimum or zero. So basically the similar thing takes place in the interference of sound as well. Let's say there is one tuner, and that tuner has produced the sound of the same frequency and amplitude from the two speakers. So this tuner is basically the source of sound, and it produces the sound by using the two speakers, speaker number 1 and speaker number 2. Now the separate two sound waves will be generated from these two speakers. Now this will generate the sound wave in this direction, and the lower loudspeaker will generate the sound wave in the other direction. Now as the both sound wave will combine together like this, so the interference of the sound takes place, and as the result of interference of sound, the maximum and minimum peaks of the sound can easily be obtained. So let's say there is one human present on the other side, and whenever as you know that the interference is either constructive or destructive, the results are maximum or minimum. So when the human is over here, if the listener is over here, so he will just hear the maximum sound. If the human or listener is over here or here or here, so the listener will just hear the less amount of sound. Now here, here and here are the destructive interference, while at the peaks there is constructive interference. So interference of sound also takes place, and the maximum and minimum of sound can easily be heard. Now if the human is somehow unable to detect the interference of sound, the microphone can be used to observe the interference of sound. The increasing and decreasing patterns of the sound can easily be obtained and observed by using the microphone. So this is all about the interference of sound. Now let's discuss the resonance of sound. Now we will discuss that what is the resonance in the sound waves. Now let me tell you that resonance is possible in terms of the sound waves. We have already discussed that what is resonance. Whenever a external force just produce the vibration in another system, so this is basically known as the resonance. Similarly, to understand the resonance of the sound, we have considered, we have taken a beaker that is filled with water, and we have placed a vertical tube inside it, so that this tube is just immersed partially in that water. Now this tube is movable, and the part of the tube which is outside the surface of the water, this part of the tube is known as the air column, and it is adjustable, which means it can be changed in terms of its height. Now let's suppose that we have brought one tuning fork near to this vertical tube, and let's say the sound waves which were originating, or the vibrations which were coming from the tuning fork, are reinforced inside this vertical tube. So what happened, as this air column is adjustable, so the vibration will also be produced in this vertical tube as well. Since this air column is adjustable, so we will just change this air column, and at some particular height of the air column, the greater sound will produced, and that is basically the resonance of the sound waves. So the next topic is basically the beats. So beats are produced when the two sound having slightly different frequencies, they are interfere, or the interference takes place between the two sounds having slightly different frequency. So if the two sounds having the frequency F1 and F2, and there is just a small difference between the two frequencies. Let's suppose that there is one frequency of 50 Hz and there is another frequency of 52 or 51 Hz. So when these two frequencies will combine together, beats will be produced. So how beats will be produced? The thing is this: the interference, the two types of interference, constructive and destructive interference, takes place simultaneously. So one after other, constructive and destructive interference takes place simultaneously, and hence we can observe the sound that is just increasing and decreasing, increasing and decreasing. So the increasing and decreasing amount of sounds which can be heard when the two slightly different frequency of sound combine together, the beat can easily be observed. Now the next topic is basically the ultrasonics. So the name tells the story. Ultra means beyond or higher, and sonic means the audible human range. So basically the sound waves which are just beyond the audible range of humans are known as the ultrasonic sound waves. Now what is the audible range of human? It is basically 20,000 Hertz. So the sound waves greater than the 20,000 Hertz, or the sound waves higher frequency sounds of the order of the 10⁹ Hertz or more, are known as the ultrasonic sound waves. Now there are so many uses of the ultrasonic sound waves, and some of the uses are discussed over here. Now uses of the ultrasonics may include determining the depth of the sea. So if you want to determine the depth of the sea, so the ultrasonic sound waves are sent inside the depth of the sea, and the velocity of the ultrasonic sound waves is already known. Now depending upon the time it goes and then reflect back, depending upon the time and the velocity of the ultrasonic sound waves, the distance or the depth of the sea can easily be calculated. Similarly, it is also used as the sonar. If you want to determine any enemy submarine or ship inside the water, so basically radar cannot be used. Here the device that is used for sea navigation is known as sonar, and the full form of sonar is sound navigation and ranging. So the sonar is also used to send the sound waves inside the sea or the ocean, and as the submarine or any ship, the wreckage of the ship is present inside the sea, the sound waves will get reflect back at some sort of angle. Depending upon the time it takes to reflect back and at the angles which the sound waves are being received, the location, position and the speed of the object that is moving inside the depth of the sea can easily be obtained by using this device that is known as sonar. Now the next device that uses the ultrasound is known as the devices for the blinds. So you know that the blind people cannot see, so the certain devices are attached to their ears and the ultrasonic waves are constantly produced. So if there is just a depth or any obstacle in front of the blind, so that sound will be produced in their ears, that there is some sort of hindrance or resistance in front of it, so it can easily guide the blind people. Now except that there are some devices that are used to determine the cracks inside the metal. So the devices also utilizes the ultrasonic sound waves. Apart from this, there are some ultrasound scans which are very much common in the medical field. The ultrasound scans are usually used to determine the things that what is going on inside the human body, and it is used to specify and analyze the soft tissues which are present inside the human body. So normally the babies inside the mothers and the different stones inside the kidneys, so x-rays are not preferred over there. Ultrasound waves and ultrasound scans are basically used over there to determine the shape of the thing that is present inside the body. So I hope that you have got the concept of today's lecture. Today we have discussed the different characteristic of sound waves, then we discussed the reflection of wave, finally we discussed the interference of wave. In the interference of wave we discussed the resonance of the wave, and we also discussed the beats and ultrasonic. So thank you very much. That's it for today. Allah Hafiz.